This is Lonowear, a modern outdoor barefoot shoes made for trail hiking, fast packing and running that Lonowear recently launched. It has everything a barefoot shoe should have, like wide toe box area, a somewhat water repellent built all around, smart lacing system and these special stabilizers at the heel area and an extremely grippy outer soles that I absolutely love. In today's video we will go through everything there is to know about the Lonowear, talk about the things that I like and dislike and my overall thoughts. Now as usual, disclaimers first, Lonowear did send over this shoe as a pre-release prototype sample, so some of what I'm experiencing might be fixed in the official release of this shoe. As usual, there is no money exchange at hand and they do not get to preview this video before it's released, and everything I say is of my own opinion. And with that out of the way, let's dive right in. Now my first impression receiving these shoes was the Lonowear looks a lot like a pair of rock climbing shoes, with the front section of the shoe having the same black design all around. I used to rock climb a long time ago during my uni days, and I remember that these climbing shoes does the exact opposite, as it forces you to literally be on your toes into a small footprint when rock climbing, which in turn provides better performance. Now the Lonowear barefoot shoes that I have right here is in the color of what Lonowear calls husky, which is sort of like a pale brown all around, and they also have another color which they call mustard, which I think looks really sick. Now the material used on this section right here is made from tech suede microfiber material, which is soft and tough at the same time, and it is said to be water repellent. Surrounding the entire shoe is this really well stitched water repellent material that is some sort of a black plastic type material, and I can't tell for sure what it really is, but what I do know is that it is pretty water repellent, as I tread through quite a heavy storm and the water droplets just hovers on top of this part right here. Then towards the toe area are these toe bumpers for a more rugged protection. These can be seen on both sides of the shoe right here. Now the shoelaces on the Lonowear also features smart lacing mechanism extending all the way to both the left and right sides of your midfoot, allowing for extra adjustment for a more secure and snug fit. Talking about fitting, my first time putting on these pair of shoes is that it fits in perfectly well. In my previous review of the Lono Flow, where I felt like the Lono Flow's sizing is not really true to size, but it's not the same for the Lonowear, as it fits perfectly well for me this time. My toes were free to wiggle around and overall a pretty snug fit. One of the comfortable wide toe box barefoot shoes that I have tested so far. Now the design of the laces and the heels pull tab is quite interesting, as it has a textured pattern lacing, which I thought was a nice touch. Now it is also worth mentioning that the shoelaces goes through the middle part of the shoe tongue right here, again allowing for more adjustability when tightening your shoelaces. Take a look at the insides of the shoe. It is also laced with the same suede microfiber material that was on the outside. The insoles right here feels like it was made from some cork material with this hexagonal layer under the inner sole. Now we can finally talk about the soles, and one of the most unique features that I've ever came across on a barefoot shoe. Let's start with the outer soles of the Lonowear. It features a 4mm sole base with a lug height of 4mm, making the stack height at about 8mm. The sole also have these unique stabilizers right here that is said to help with balancing on downward slopes given its much wider base area. Initially, just when putting on this shoe, the shape of the stabilizers were a little foreign, as most barefoot shoes have close to zero support at the heel area, and these two stabilizers on both the left and right side shoes, when you have your feet close together, it doesn't seem to get in the way. But after wearing these shoes for about a week, I came to really appreciate these stabilizers. I used them for running and these felt really amazing, especially for heel to toe walking. These added stabilizers were a breeze to walk in. The sole underneath are also pretty grippy, providing with lots of traction on any surface that you walk in. Now of course, same as always, when you walk on wet tiles, it is still as slippery as any other shoe, so do keep that in mind. All in all, the Lonowear has been my go-to shoe for the past 2 to 3 weeks. As I incorporate a little running, I got to test out this shoe, and I can say they are pretty comfortable to walk and run in. I really like the design and build quality, and I honestly feel like these can actually go up against a casual barefoot shoe, but with features of a hiking shoe. It doesn't really scream barefoot shoe, but more of a casual hiking shoe. I love the wide toe box area the shoe provides, plenty of toe room to wiggle around, and another thing that I like is the slight water repellent material material coated all around the shoe. These have actually protected me from a rainstorm a while back, keeping my feet dry. And because I was really curious to know how much this shoe held up against stopping into a puddle of water, I made my own puddle to test this out, and true enough, the water repellent material surrounding the stitched soles did help up to its bargain. However, the suede microfiber did get wet as soon as water hits it, and these areas get wet pretty easily, and even the inner soles as well. So stepping into puddles shouldn't be a big deal as long as it doesn't flood the tongue area, then it is well protected, which is what matters. Now, these shoes are also quite compact and flexible, but it's not as bendable as my other barefoot shoes due to the thicker soles on the shoes, especially with the added stabilizers right here. Now, the only thing that I didn't like but would happily close a blind eye is the weight of the shoes. While comparing this to another hiking barefoot shoes from Saguaro, the 4-step one, the Lonowear is at about 378 grams, and the Salomon hiking shoe sits at about 352 grams. In other words, the Lonowear is actually heavier than a regular hiking shoe. But with the much wider and comfortable toe box area on the Lonowear, I personally think that the weight is quite negligible and would happily trade away weight over comfort. All in all, I would say that the ruggedness of this shoe, as advertised as a hiking, trail running and trekking barefoot shoes, does live up to its name. I've yet to bring this pair of shoes out for a good hike, so if I do have the chance, I'll be sure to come back and talk more about it in the next video. On a side note, I did actually reach back out to Lonowear asking about the design fixes since the release of the prototype unit in comparison to the official release shoes, and these were some of the improvements that were made overall. Softer rubber sole for better mobility and grip, revised toe bumper design for better durability, added ventilation holes on the tongue of the shoes, and finally NAMI water, dirt and oil repellent treatment on the suede upper material. Now, all of these improvements have been made into the official release of these shoes, so do look out for official reviews from other creators. So far, most of the videos online are for the prototype version, but I think the prototype sample shouldn't be too much of a difference with the official release version. That being said, the Lonowear is currently priced at $126 US. It is a little bit on the pricier end, but for all of the features, I think it is justifiable. So if you are interested, be sure to head on to Lonowear's website to find out more details about it. I'll leave a link in the description box down below for your ease of reference. And if you are looking for a more casual looking barefoot shoes, then you can check out my other barefoot shoe videos here on the channel, like the Lono Flow or the Saguaro Lug one. If you decide to pick one up and if you would like to support the channel, I do have an affiliate link and I believe you know what to do. A huge shout out to Lonowear for sending over this pair of barefoot shoes. That being said, that is all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you have found this video insightful. If you have any questions or things that you would like to know, feel free to leave me a comment down below. I'll be sure to get back to you guys as soon as possible. As always, thank you also so much for tuning in. My name is Ken. I'll catch you all in the next one. Stay safe, peace out, and bye bye.